Hello, Amy and Bella here. Thank you for joining us on another soggy adventure. I'm going to tell you a story about the time I had an accident while talking on the phone with Bella. What Bella did after my accident was a huge surprise. It happened when I was driving home from a weekend road trip. I slid into the passenger seat of the car and tugged at the waistband of my jeans before settling in. They were snug, just broken in enough to be soft, but still fitted across my thighs. I didn't think anything of it at the time. There was a faint, nagging feeling in my bladder, but it barely registered. I'd used the bathroom before we left. I figured I was fine. Adults don't just wet their pants, I told myself. That kind of thing doesn't happen. The car rumbled onto the highway, and I scrolled through my phone, feeling restless. I still had hours ahead of me, so I decided to call my best friend Bella. They always made time pass faster. "Hey, what's up?" they answered, cheerful as ever. "Not much," I said, leaning back against the seat. "Just a long, boring drive. Thought I'd keep you company." We started talking about nothing in particular. Movies, work gossip, dumb memes we'd seen online. It felt good to laugh. But even while we talked, the feeling in my belly kept growing. The pressure was no longer background noise. It was becoming a distraction. I crossed one leg over the other, shifted in my seat, tugged at my waistband again, pretending it was just about comfort. But really, I was trying to relieve the pressure building inside me. "You okay?" my friend asked. "You sound kind of weird." I cleared my throat, forcing my voice to sound casual. Yeah, I'm fine, just fidgety." But I wasn't fine. My bladder felt heavy, stretched, and each little bump in the road made me flinch. The denim of my jeans pressed right where I didn't want it to. I clenched my thighs tighter, silently praying for a rest stop to magically appear. There wasn't one. Not for miles. Time crawled. The pressure grew more intense by the minute. My thighs bounced restlessly. My toes curled in my shoes. I tried to focus on what my friend was saying, but my mind kept slipping back to the ache in my belly and the sharp pulse of urgency. "You sure you're okay?" they asked again. I exhaled slowly. "Honestly, I really have to pee." They laughed, teasing but kind. "Oh no, you poor thing, how bad is it?" I groaned. "Bad, like I don't even want to move. Every bump feels like it's going to be the one that breaks me." They chuckled softly. Okay, just hang on. You can do this." I tried. I really did. I squeezed every muscle I could, pressed my hand into my lap, shifted, crossed my legs tighter, held my breath every time the car bounced. I was so tense I could feel my lower back aching. It felt like my whole body was holding on to this one impossible task: don't let go. But the truth? I was terrified, not just of the accident, but of what it would mean. Grown-ups don't just wet their pants. It's gross. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. I imagined the smell, the mess, the shame of sitting in soaked jeans like a toddler. I couldn't let that happen. I didn't realize I was trembling until my friend asked, "Are you still there?" "Yeah," I said, voice tight. I don't know how much longer I can hold it." And then it happened. It started with a single traitorous spurt. Just a second, just enough to dampen the front of my jeans. But the warmth that followed made my heart race. "Oh my God," I whispered. What happened?" my friend asked. I think I just leaked," I said, panicked. Another wave hit me, harder this time. I gasped, hand flying down to press against my lap. But it was too late. My muscles gave out. The pressure had been too much for too long. A loud, unmistakable hiss filled the car. I heard it. My friend heard it. "Wait, was that... Oh my God, I can hear it!" they said, shocked but not unkind. I didn't answer. I couldn't. I was frozen in place as hot pee poured out of me in a gushing stream, soaking through my underwear, flooding into the denim. The sound was deafening in my ears, steady, wet, relentless. I felt it spread across my lap, racing down the insides of my thighs, pooling beneath me in the seat. It was everywhere. The jeans clung to me immediately, warm and wet and heavy. The hissing sound didn't stop. I sat there, shaking, overwhelmed, as my body emptied itself against my will. And then, something changed. The moment I stopped trying to hold it, when I gave in, the most incredible wave of relief swept through me. It was dizzying. My breath caught in my throat. Every muscle that had been clenched for the past hour finally let go. My whole body sagged back into the seat. It wasn't gross. It wasn't disgusting. It was bliss. It felt like an emotional and physical exhale, like finally setting down a boulder I didn't realize I was carrying. It was warm and wet and messy, and it felt amazing. Honestly, it felt a little like an orgasm. Not sexual, but that same kind of shivering, whole body wave of release. It was intense, almost euphoric. I let out a shaky laugh, my voice trembling as the last drop soaked into the seat beneath me. I sat there in stunned silence, jeans soaked, the heat of it still radiating from my lap. My breath was shaky. My hands were trembling. "I can't believe that just happened," I whispered. My friend was quiet for a beat. Then, gently, "How do you feel?" I hesitated, then laughed, soft, disbelieving. Honestly, not how I thought I would. "What do you mean?" "I thought I'd feel gross, embarrassed, like completely humiliated. But I don't. I really don't." I ran my hand down the front of my jeans. They were heavy and sticky, clinging to every curve. I could feel the wet fabric hugging my thighs, the seat warm and squishy beneath me. It should have been awful, but it wasn't. It actually felt really good, I admitted. Like, ridiculously good. My friend laughed softly. "You're serious?" "I'm dead serious." The relief was unreal. I've never felt anything like that before. It was like a full-body sigh, like I'd been holding my breath for hours and I finally got to breathe. And yeah, honestly, it felt kind of like a little orgasm, just messier. They made a surprised sound. "Wow, I never thought about it like that." "Me neither," I said, still laughing a little. "But now that it's happened, I'm not upset. I'm not embarrassed. I just feel calm, peaceful. I feel so much better." "I can't believe I'm hearing this," they teased, but their tone was soft, supportive. "You're actually telling me peeing your pants was a good experience?" I grinned, still flushed from everything. I know it sounds crazy, but it really was. It wasn't gross, it wasn't shameful, it was kind of incredible. I shifted in my seat. The jeans squelched faintly beneath me. I could feel every inch of the wet fabric hugging my legs and hips. It was undeniable and strangely comforting, like a reminder that the worst had already happened, and it wasn't so bad after all. "Honestly," I added, "I think you should try it sometime." They burst out laughing. "Oh my God, you're really recommending this?" "I'm serious. You don't know until it happens to you. I thought it would be horrible, but it was freeing. It made me feel human, and it felt amazing." There was a pause. Then my friend chuckled. Well, maybe one day I'll see what all the hype is about. Do it, I said playfully. And then call me. I want to hear everything. The rest of the ride was completely different. There was no more tension, no more panic. I sat in soaked jeans, the seats beneath me still warm and damp, but my body felt light, loose, relaxed. I kept thinking back to the moment it happened, the fight, the fear, the hissing sound echoing in my ears. And then, that impossible, wonderful wave of relief. All that time, I'd been terrified of how gross it would be, of how wrong it would feel. I'd imagined shame and disgust, but the truth? It was nothing like that. It was the opposite. It was messy, and wet, and warm, and glorious. I had to pee after another hour or so, and this time I didn't even hesitate. I was soaked anyway, so I just let go. The hot, wet relief flooded my jeans again, but it wasn't quite the same. Don't get me wrong, it felt delicious. But I realized that what made it so powerful was the build-up and the explosion that came with losing control. I had just pulled up in front of my house, thankful it was dark and no one would see me in pea-soaked jeans. Then my phone buzzed. It was Bella. She sent me a picture. My heart began to race. Did she really do it? And did she really take a picture? I quickly ran inside to see what she had done. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever wet yourself in a car? Tell us about your experience in the comments. We'd love to hear all about your accident. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss any soggy stories or hypnosis audios. Now click on our next video for another wet or messy adventure.